This is Kirah here, and this is my show, the Strology show. And yeah, I'm your host. I'm Kirah, also known as Shakira, also known as the Strology on the socials and all that. And I'm so happy and excited to have you here with me today. This is basically like the introductory episode. You can hear my Mercury and Sag tongue twisting come out. The introductory episode, I guess. This is like me telling you a little bit about myself and, my practice and why I'm even doing this. So yeah, let me get into it. I'm Kirah. I'm from Pennsylvania, a suburb of Philadelphia. We have a humongous mall. And in terms of like my background with astrology and, growing up with it, I didn't necessarily grow up with it. You can say, well, the thing about me is that I've always been someone that's been obsessed with birthdays. And ever since I was a baby, not baby, but ever since I was really little, I just had this obsession with knowing everyone's birthday. And I still like randomly remember birthdays. Like I was earlier today just thinking, whose birthday is coming up? Because that's just like a thought that passes through my brain all the time. And then I was like, oh yeah, August 14th. That's so-and-so's birthday. And I was literally thinking of this girl I went to school with up until the age of like 11 and then haven't seen since. I, for some reason, remember her birthday. So, there was always something in me that knew that, that moment in time that you were born was special. Without knowing anything about astrology or birth charts, really, I always treasured that, I guess. And therefore, I always knew the time I was born too. And Pennsylvania doesn't put the time of birth on your birth certificate, which is unfortunate. But I remember asking my mom when I was really little. Actually, just like a few years ago, I think, I found like a letter that I wrote to myself, and I signed it with my date. I was 8 years old when I wrote this, and I signed it with my full name, my date of birth, and my time of birth. Again, why? I just for some reason knew that mattered. And so fast forward, when I was like 11, 12, I was starting to like research, horoscopes and different sign combinations, purely for like figuring out who would be most compatible with who. I was like, preteen boy crazy. And I remember like, always asking boys their birthday and stuff like that, and asking girls. I went to an all-girls school growing up. Asking girls like who they were interested in and like finding out their birthday. Like I was doing that since I was like 11, 12 years old. And it didn't really extend much past that until I was in college. And I had a friend, a Scorpio, Emily, who once I was at her house for like her birthday or something at her apartment, with a bunch of other girls, and I remember her being like, did you know that like there's more to like your astrology? Like there's like a moon sign and like other signs? And I was like, what? Like why are you telling me this? And like this is something that I feel like I should know, which is such a Scorpio thing. But that night I found out I was a Pisces rising and an Aries moon, and that really intrigued me. And then I remember being at home probably just like a couple weeks later, and I remember being at home at my parents' house and Googling like birth chart and typing in my information and seeing my chart for the first time, which I still have a screenshot of it. that was wild, and it changed my life. I just remember feeling this. I just remember feeling totally witnessed and seen by the universe, and it was just such a like purely magical moment. It was really beautiful. So yeah, that night I didn't sleep, and I stayed up all night researching my birth chart, and just had this idea that I had to learn everything. I had to absorb everything that I could about astrology and about my birth chart, and I just became obsessed immediately. For the astrologers out there, this was my closing Saturn square that this happened. And I know that's like a common thing for astrologers to come across astrology around that time, or at least become like very dedicated into the study. It was also Saturn transiting my ninth house, so there's that too. So yeah, I haven't looked back since. That was in late 2012. It is now mid 2020, and I'm still an astrologer. I'm still just obsessed as I was in that moment, and it's taken over my life. So yeah, I'm now a working astrologer. I've had a client practice for, I would say, like solidly for 2 years. I've been doing readings for giving readings for money for more like 5 years now. Like 4 or 5 years, but I've been in intense study for about 8 years now. And now I'm at my Saturn return. So of course this is when I go full-time professional with it. So yeah, my practice really consists of a consulting practice. I see clients pretty regularly, and that's a huge bulk of my work. And I really, really, really deeply enjoy seeing clients and helping people using this tool. And with that also comes like tutoring and helping astrology students make sense of all of this. And with that, I'm also in the middle of designing a course. I do webinars. I teach, I teach in webinars. I have spoken in conferences and summits. And I also have a monthly meetup group called Deep Seekers, where we get together every month and do tarot for each other, and talk about astrology, and I do a little lecturing, and we kind of workshop our charts together, and that's really fun. Yeah, and I guess outside of like those offerings, I guess another offering I do is I do electional astrology, so I'll help you choose a date or a moment in time to begin something or to do something, to take action on something. And that's a part of astrology that I really, really love too, because it's a lot of problem solving, and it can get really technical, which is really fun for me. So yeah, I offer that as well. And outside of that, I just have a lot of I care a lot about community, and through this Saturn transit in my 11th house in Capricorn, I have, come to understand how much I need this community, the astrologers, and how much I love astrologers, and how I just really want to form community around our shared love for this practice and this tool, this language, whatever you want to call it. And so, yeah, I'm really trying to do a lot to foster a lot of community growth, and basically create a space for, like in particular, younger astrologers and queer astrologers and astrologers of color, Black astrologers, disabled astrologers, anyone on the margins really who who love and care about astrology, I want to make the community as welcoming as possible to those people, and as inclusive as possible and accessible as possible. So that's kind of another part of my mission, because it's just like, astrologers are the best, I just have to say. And with that, with my love for astrologers comes, this show. And it's really born out of this desire to capture a lot of the really like thought-provoking and exciting and loving and insightful conversations that I have with other astrologers. And there's been so many times where I've been like, oh, I wish this was recorded. Like, what you just said was brilliant. And we have these amazing exchanges. And for me, it just came time to create some structure in order to capture these conversations. So that is the show. The first episode is going to be this really incredible discussion I had with 3 astrologers who I admire deeply and greatly. Sam Reynolds, Bear River, and Ari Felix. So we have a discussion kind of around the idea or the question, why astrology? And it's so rich and like nourishing, and we all had such a great time recording that. So I'm really excited for you to hear it. And then the following episodes I'm basically doing a deep dive into each of the planets. Each of the planets. And so I have discussions with astrologers who I know and love about each one of the planets. We're going from the sun to the moon to Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. And then we're going to do Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then we're going to do the nodes. And I kind of just want to establish like a baseline and give that to the audience, you guys. These like rich discussions, just like very much focused on each of the 7, or actually more than just the 7 traditional planets, but like really these building blocks. And I really think you're going to get a lot out of those discussions. We've just been having a really great time recording them, so I'm really excited to share them with you. And then beyond that, it's going to be a lot of discussions and conversations with other astrologers, and about different topics like, fundamentals of astrology, and we'll cover a lot more kind of like educational topics. And then we'll also get into, more like conceptual discussions and philosophical discussions, and talking about, how we can make the community better. And, I don't know, I have a ton of ideas, and I'm excited to get to work, making it all happen for you. So there's that. I guess another thing I can offer is that I guess I forgot to say this earlier. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio sun. I have an Aries moon and a Pisces rising, and you'll hear me talk about my chart a lot, because I think it's helpful to hear about people's personal experiences with their chart and their placements, and it can kind of help other people like contextualize, their own placement. So I like to offer that as much as I can. And I guess that's what I have for you today. You can find me online. You can find me on my website, which is thestrology.com. That's TheStrology.com. Finally getting that down in my head, so I'm not like stumbling over it. And what else? Oh yeah, I'm at Strology on Instagram. I'm at Strology _ on Twitter. I'm on YouTube as well, where I'm going to be posting the video versions of these episodes. So check me out there. And I have a Patreon for this, for the podcast. It's patreon.com/thestrology the Strology show. And you can find there's 3 different tiers there, the conjunction, the sextile, and the trine. And check it out. I'll be talking about it more on other episodes, but if you feel so inclined to support me in this journey and in creating this show, I would very, very, very much appreciate it. And yeah, I'm just like really excited to have you here with me, and I hope that you love what I have to offer for you, and I would love to hear your feedback and, tell me what you think. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Tell me who you want me to talk to. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop me a line on my Instagram page when I post these episodes. Hit me up on Twitter, which is where I spend most of my time, my social time. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.